William Ruto has called on the United Nations member states to come together to help each other alleviate some of the challenges facing their nations in the face of the climate change and political unrest across the world. In his maiden speech at the United Nations General Assembly, the president made clear some of his plans for Kenya and urged donor nations to extend debt relief to some of the African nations that have been worse hit by the COVID-19 and climate changes. In his maiden speech at the United General Assembly, President William Ruto recognized that majority of African nations were building up their economies, especially after the effects of the pandemic. He took the opportunity to explain his model of the bottom-up economics, which he explained was the best approach, as this population held numbers in the labor conversation, which was key to building back.
Building back better from the bottom upwards is essentially about including the marginalized to working maturity in the economic mainstream. The bottom millions relentlessly wage their daily battle for survival in a crowded arena characterized by scarcity of opportunity and generally precarious existence. The ingenuity, optimism, resilience, and energy in this ever-bustling bottom is sometimes called hustling. Invisibly to policymakers and beyond the reach of many public services, these hustlers take nothing for granted, surviving overwhelming odds and frequently succeeding greatly.
With the 10 counties in the country already in the red list as those affected heavily by the drought in the country, with 4 million occupants facing acute starvation, Ruto urged for collective conversation and responsibility on climate justice. He further added that achieving Kenya's social development goals was heavily dependent on working towards impact-based conversations that will make food and life bearable for majority.
The northern arid and semi-arid rangelands of our country have been gravely impacted by drought, whose severity has not been seen or experienced in 40 years. 3.1 million residents of these atolls are now severely food insecure on account of scarce rainfall over 3 consecutive seasons, leading to poor crop and pasture. This unprecedented confluence of intensely adverse events has exacerbated water scarcity and starvation, worsened by rising food prices, thus complicating Kenya's roadmap towards delivering good quality of life to our citizens and hindering the progress to achieving SDG number 6 and SDG number 2.
With agriculture standing as the only option for sub-Saharan economy to compete with the globe, Ruto called for sustained efforts towards mechanization of agriculture in the continent while underscoring the need to incentivize farmers so as to promote agriculture. Simba, Elijah Charles Kiage, Liquor Business.